These are things I wish I knew before choosing a school in France. The first thing is that there are things called Grand Écoles in France, and these schools have better alumni, better networking, and they are well-known schools in France. So if you went to a Grand École, and even if you cannot speak French well enough, your CV will be looked at. You're very likely going to get hired because these are the top schools in France, and French employers do consider schools. So I wish I knew that. The second thing I wish I knew was that public universities are cheaper, but your outcome depends on a lot of factors. So your city, your course, what else? Well, so public schools can be cheaper, but your outcome, by outcome I mean your ability to get a job after school depends a lot of public universities are cheaper, but your ability to get a job after depends on a lot of factors. Your city, your course, your networking, and your level of French as well. A lot of people focus on low tuition without thinking long term. The third thing is private schools are easier to get into. Like I'm telling you, private schools are so easy to get into. However, they are not really rated like by employers. Like private schools, when it comes to jobs, it's not like you cannot get a job if you went to a private school. You might, but I'm telling you, you are less likely to get a job if you went to a private school than you would if you went to a Grand École. This is facts. In France, they really look at the schools that you went to. So private schools is low barrier to enter. You can enter easily. Tuitions are very high, but you can enter easily. But afterwards, getting a job might become a very big problem for you. However, if you speak French properly and you network heavily, you might be able to get a job. Also, if your degree is in STEM, you might be able to get a good job after you graduate. Now, I wish I knew about the importance of internships because I had no idea. Internships in France are so important that if you don't do your internship, if you're trying to find a job after, you literally might not get hired because the French employers want to see France or EU working experience. If nobody has hired you before, they are very likely not going to hire you after. It's just. And before picking a school, you can help yourself by looking into your school's program, talking to alumni or people who are actively in the program, and finding out how involved is the school in helping you search for an internship, because there's so many schools who help you search for internships. Most do not, but some do, many do, and most people don't really look at this. And so when they finish school, they struggle to find an internship and subsequently struggle to find a job. And at this time, you're beginning to need money, but you can't have any because, well, no job. Another thing is learning French during your master's degree. Like, so the France or the French master's program is like a bachelor's degree. Like you're in school from morning till around 3, 4 in the evening, like 9 or 10 a.m. to 3, 4. It's very rigorous. It's not the chilling masters. It's active. It's very difficult. Like it's very difficult. Now, most schools offer free French classes for their students, right? But the thing is, most students don't attend. Like most people don't attend because the French masters is such long hours. And so after being in school from morning till evening, and now you have to, instead of going home, you have to come and sit and attend another hour of classes. Like I'm telling you, most people don't like it. I'm one of those people because I just want to go home and sleep. But if I knew that the government was offering free French classes, every city in France, I'm sure there's in every city in France, there are free French classes that the government is offering for students, for employers, for people who seek asylum. There are a lot of them, and they happen on weekends, days that you're not actually going to be in class. If I knew that, I would have had a better chance at getting a job earlier. I have a job now, but earlier I would have gotten a job earlier because I would have used this opportunity to improve my French and be able to speak French in interviews and find my way in, because you will get interviews if you apply hard enough, but when it comes to if you can speak French, you begin to have a problem. So this is something that I wish I knew. Nobody told me, but I'm telling you. Another thing is your city really matters. Like when it comes to finding a job, your city matters as much as your school and as much as your course, because I've moved a lot of times. I moved a lot of times, and I moved primarily because of job opportunities. In smaller cities, if you don't speak French, it's going to be way harder for you to get a job. In bigger cities, there are more opportunities, you know. So if you're coming to France, I picked the city that I picked because of cost. It was after paying such a huge tuition, I didn't want to still pay such a huge rent. So I picked a city that was affordable. What I should have done was pick a school that is affordable and stay in a big city and pay a high rent, relatively higher rent. It would have paid off, you know, in the end. It would have been, that's what I feel right now. People might have different opinions, but that's what I feel. I feel like it would have paid off, because if you cannot speak French well and you're in a small city, everybody speaks French in smaller cities. Like, how do you want to, it's not going to work. So that's something I wish I knew, right?